Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm Margaret James from Insights, and today we're going to be discussing a little bit of astrology and tarot and Lenormand, and how to me they interact. When I say that, these are my thoughts only. They're not from any specific teachings. It's just knowledge that I've accumulated through my time, through my life. And the one thing I want to say, why I'm pointing to all this, I was shown in a dream last night to actually chat and talk about different aspects of our mind, and how we get muddled up, and how we let our thoughts actually distract us from what's really happening in our lives, because we worry, we incline to take things out on other people. That's purely our imagination. So it's all these little thoughts, these conflicting thoughts all the time. And then I was shown clouds, which is a Lenormand card. It's also one of my passions. I love my Lenormand readings and that. But the clouds, you can see by the clouds, we have the dark area, and then we have the light area, and that's very much our minds. Indecision, everything's so dark, we can't see further than the clouds. It's like a big fog that comes down upon us, and we feel very misty, unsure. We take things wrong. We don't really react the way we should do to something that maybe is meant for our own good. And that's all right. In Lenormand, it's got quite a different meaning when you're actually interacting and reading the cards. But this way, it shows that it's just describing our mind, how we can get so muddled up in the clouds. And then came along the thought of Neptune, the hangman in tarot. Not Neptune. Neptune's my astrology planet. So I'm actually linking up the clouds, the hangman, and Neptune. Now the hangman is also that uncertainty where we really give an opportunity to re-look into our lives and redirect our energies in a positive light, and make plans. That time when we sit down with a pen and paper and we look at the positives of the situation and the negatives of the situation. And that's something all of us do in one time of our life when we're trying to look for direction. So when we're uncertain, we must not really take action. We must ignore the clouds and the Neptune. When I say ignore the negative source. Rather, just apply positivity to it and look for positive ways to come out of this negative situation. Now, the planet that directs all this is Neptune. Now, Neptune is very much linked to the angels of Jupiter as well. And Neptune is what we call the Lord of the oceans. Now, you can relate that back. Sometimes you look at oceans where it's beautifully clear, or seas or lakes, beautifully clear. And then other times we look at something and it's so muddled up and muddy and uncertain. So we have a cloud moment. So in order to still those emotions of Neptune, I always say in astrology, if Neptune's aspecting the person's chart very closely, then we have to, we've got to be very careful that we're not fooled by the situation. It could be somebody trying to mislead us. It could be somebody that's not being all that honest. You know, the higher the person, you've got to be quite spiritually intact to actually contact the spiritual energy of Neptune. A lot of people that have a strong Neptune in their charts only, if they can't relate to the higher octave of Neptune, they usually end up to being drug addicts, alcohol dependencies, or very materialistic. And then you get the other souls that are very, I wouldn't say more spiritual, but spiritually in contact with the inner selves. And then they are able to reach that higher octave of Neptune. Neptune is on the 6th ray, and actually was founded in 1846. So it's a planet that's been going, it's fairly new if you compare all the other, like the Sun, the Moon, Venus, Mars. So I thought it would help us today to actually go into a lovely meditation. And I'm going to read from White Eagle's book, Healing Meditations, on page 68. And all I ask is for you to find a nice still space where you can totally relax and just breathe in the Christ light. With White Eagle teachings, we visualize the Christ star, and we see that star just enfolding us, and all that beautiful light just pouring down into us, and we breathe it in, bringing our breathing under control. So just become very conscious of your breathing. And then close your eyes. Sometimes it helps to actually meditate on a flame, and then just open yourself up to breathing in the Christ light, and becoming conscious of that energy collecting to your lower self, that little I am within us. And while you're doing that, I'll slowly breathe in, slowly read to you a meditation, the Blue Pool of Healing. Dear one, we would draw you up to the top of the Golden Mountain, to the highest pinnacle of spiritual consciousness of which you are capable. There, through your imagination, think of it as your vision. You may see the Master with his arms outstretched, calling you to come up to him and be comforted and enfolded in his love. Open your heart that it may be a receptacle to these golden rays of creative power and life and health. He draws aside the veil of materiality, beyond which you see an altar in the golden temple of the Son of God. There you will see him in his heavenly life, in all the purity and holiness. As you come closer to the altar, keep your vision above the earth, upon the face of the beloved Christ. He calls upon God to bless the bread, which he breaks into many pieces before he distributes them to each soul in his presence. Take, eat of the bread of heaven, absorb the food of your soul, and give forth all your love and compassion to your brethren of all the kingdoms of earth. And the Master raises the cup of wine. He calls down again the blessing of his Father upon this wine, the essence of his love for you. Drink from this cup, that your heart may be full of love. For love is the fulfilling of the law. Through love you are made whole. Now your soul is taken through the healing and cleansing waters. Use your power of heavenly imagination to see the blue waters, the healing waters. Feel yourself being guided through this cleansing process. That is what the body and mind of a person on earth needs more than physical food. He or she needs this washing, this cleansing of the etheric body. Feel yourself being immersed in the blue pool of healing, and all the dark, fearful atoms fall away from you. Look up into the tender smile of the Master Jesus. And his angels lead you forth into the spirit garden of perfect flowers. Peace be upon you. Peace be into you. The healing of the soul is far more important than that of the body. In the calmness of your spirit, try and retain the peace of this heavenly spiritual garden. Wisdom and power of the Divine Master. You cannot fail to breathe into yourself the breath of God, and you will go forth in love, in harmony with God's law. It's pure love. Amen.